Good to go.
Thank you, sir. We okay over here, Vanessa?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to all of you. We'll call to order this regular public meeting of Lawrence County Board of Commissioners. Today is Tuesday, July 16. We appreciate you all joining us today. We do ask if you have any type of an electronic communication device, cell phone, what have you, if you could please put it on vibrate or silent. We would appreciate that courtesy. We always begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we would ask you to remain standing. We'll have a brief moment of silence. We would ask that you keep in your thoughts the individuals and families who were either killed or wounded at the tragic event over the weekend next door to us in Butler County. With that, Commissioner Kennedy, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you please remain standing, we'll have a brief moment of silence. Thank you all very much. Vanessa, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Sinata?
Here.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Here.
Commissioner Vogler?
Here. We do have a quorum. All three commissioners are present. I will note that this meeting is being live streamed and also recorded. Just wanted to make you folks all aware of that. And in a few moments, we'll open it for public comment, which we do twice during the meeting. We'll have an opportunity for public comment here in just a few moments, and then prior to adjournment, we'll reopen it. You're welcome to speak both times if you'd like. If you only wish to speak one of the two times, that's also fine. And if you're just here to listen and prefer not to speak, that's also fine. We do ask that if you do have comments, that they be related to county government matters. And if you could try to limit your time to about 5 minutes, if you could, out of respect for everybody's schedules. We always set aside time under, and by the way, everybody has an agenda, I hope. Under Roman numeral 2 for row officer reports and comments, I have something really, I think, very positive to point out, and that is that we have today with us our Prothonotary and Clerk of Courts, Jody Asaldo. We found out within the last week that Jody has been elected president of her state association of Prothonotaries and Clerks of Court for the whole Commonwealth. And we asked you to come down today so that we could recognize you and congratulate you. They picked the right person, so congratulations. 67 counties in the Commonwealth, and you are the leader of that organization. So we're very proud of you, and we know you'll do a fantastic job. You're a leader, and this certainly reinforces that fact. I know you said you didn't want to say anything, but
Thank you very much. I told you I'd bring Lawrence County to the map,
there you go.
even though I gotta go to Pittsburgh. But I'll bring Lawrence County with me.
Great. Well, we wish
Thank
you
you.
all the success in the world, and we know you'll have it. So,
Thank you.
Dan, any comments for Jody?
Jody's just, since I've met her and get to work with her now, she's just a class act person. We thank you, Jody, for what
Thank
you
you.
do. You keep that place running smooth over there, and you do a great job, and we really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Dan, thank you. Commissioner Sanada?
Sure, I just want to echo my two colleagues, Jody, congratulations. That is an honor, and we appreciate your hard work and dedication. I see that the state officials recognize that as well, so wish you the best. And I know your staff does a great job, and we enjoy working with you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Now, since we're under row officer reports and comments, anything else you'd like to add at this time, Jody?
Thank you.
You're very welcome to stay for the meeting. We know you're a busy
I have a
person.
meeting, yes.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thanks for coming down. We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our county controller is here, David Prestapine. I know in a few moments we're going to be opening some bids, but David, anything other than that that you need to bring up to us today? All right. Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate your joining us. That takes us to public comment, so I will open the floor. If you have a comment, just raise your hand, we'll call on you. If you could identify yourself. Amy, good morning.
Good morning. Amy Lamb, 2002 Delaware Avenue, Newcastle. I have a couple comments. First of all, I was in someone's office Friday filling out some paper forms, and a young woman came in there and was bragging on her phone about stealing large American flags off of a cemetery, and she was going to take them to the trunk rally to sell them. I don't care if you're black, purple, or whatever you are. That was awful. And I'm ashamed of myself. She had a service dog, and that's 76 years old. I was afraid to attack her because she might attack me. I did turn it over to the person who runs that office that said that looked into it. No one has a right to take a flag off of graveyard. Second, I wanted to say, this is what I came for, but I came here at 27 years old, divorced with 3 little children, and I bought a parcel of land, and I paid my taxes on that parcel for 47 years. And I had to have some drain work done. I put 3 little of those orange stakes out so nobody drove over my drain pipes until the ground settled. My neighbors put notices on the garage, every door of my house, and my car that they were going to come after me for harassment because it was their property. I came to the courthouse to get help. I went to the tax assessors. I went to everywhere I could go. And they said and the pathonetaries, they said there's nothing they can do for me at all, even though I have my deed and what is my property and pay taxes on. And I am paying today $1,500 to have a survey of my property I've lived on for 47 years. Something needs to be done about that. Someone just can't say that's not my property. I mean, I worked real hard to pay that property and paid to have a garage built, had to be 5 foot off the property. So if that is really all that people can do for me, I mean, and I have to pay more money to prove it's my property, I think there's something that could be done about that. I'm really upset about it. And then I wanted to say that I am proud to live in Newcastle, but little things like that make our kids go away. And I want to say that, again, my son is the principal at the #1 high school in the nation, and there's still nothing he can do to help me with my tax problem or with my property line. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And so that's what I wanted to say, that there's something that could be done to help some other. I mean, I'm borrowing the money to have it surveyed, but maybe there's somebody out there that has no resources that couldn't do this to prove their property line. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your being here today.
And I have to leave.
Oh, okay, no, that's
I'm
fine.
going to the National Eucharistic Congress tomorrow, but I just wanted that girl taking those flags off that cemetery, I cannot tell you how much that has disturbed me, that she would be, and bragging about it on her phone. So maybe we could do something about some people like that. And then what happened? And then the very next day at the rally, it's people like that that cause this thing. So thank you all for listening, and thank you for allowing me to come
Absolutely.
and speak my mind. So
Thank you,
if there's
Amy.
anything to be done, let me know.
Certainly.
Thanks very much,
Thank you.
everybody. Have a
Take
great
care.
day.
Bye-bye. Are there other public comments at this time? If not, once again, we'll reopen it before we adjourn. Moving along under fiscal and contractual, the next item on the agenda would be receipt of bids and proposals. This is relating to the ADA curb ramp improvement project in the borough of Elwood City. I'll note that on May 28th of this year, we passed Resolution 113, noting that the county would advertise for bids on June 3 and June 10, with the bids being due by July 15. For this work in the borough of Elwood City. The funding is being made by the Community Development Block Grant funds. And Rebecca was here from the planning office, but more importantly, right now at least, Mr. Prestipine, our county controller, is here. And thanks for coming up, Dave. Dave is going to open the bids, and as many of you know, in fact, Loretta would remember this because I think this was implemented while you were commissioner.
Yes.
We've undertaken a kind of an updated way of accepting and then opening bids. And Mr. Prestipine, we thank you very much for learning about this and recommending it to the board. And we've implemented it, but it's all due to your work. And so I'll turn it over to you, and you can go through that bid. No more letter opening.
Getting one more paper cut.
How many? Do you know how many bids
We've
we've received?
received one.
Okay.
There's one bid received, it was from Fryer Excavating, which is in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. Okay, over here. Well, I don't know that they did this properly, but it says on here, documents unavailable, pages 0.
Take your time for whatever you have to
I
do, Dave.
don't know that they uploaded anything either. What happens is they have to upload the information into the system. I don't see that any of that was done. Sure.
That is through Pendant, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we're from, we are Fryer Excavating. And I'm just surprised, we've used Pendant all year
On
long.
several,
Yeah,
several
so
bids.
I'm surprised our office staff really experienced uploading it and stuff, so.
Let me, I'm gonna log out of here and log back in just in case.
Got my heart pumping a little bit, so.
We'll get it worked out. There used to be a Fryer family in Indian Valley. Any relation to the
My
Fryers?
grandfather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, John
Was there a John Fryer?
Fryer.
I vaguely remember him.
Yeah.
He from Eden Valley.
Yeah,
Small world.
yes, it is. Yeah.
It did say that you were the only submitter, so I did get notification that
Yeah, their
You were the
name
only
is on
submission.
here.
only submission, so let that be noted that it was received, but until technically we can get into it.
Are you guys taught?
No, Todd's my cousin. Yeah.
Just looked at my phone. I was taught Friday. I remember the wine. He tore a house down for me.
Yeah,
He's a great guy.
he works for Verizon.
And I can show if you want to see what I'm looking at. Here.
I believe
No, I can see your screen.
It says documents unavailable, pages 0. I mean, this is where I normally click on where it says scorecard, and it usually brings it up and there's nothing there.
Well, you know, one option I think we might have, if it would help you in terms of what you need to do, we can continue the meeting, and I don't know if you have to go make a phone call to somebody, and if you're able to resolve it, you know, we're gonna be here at least probably half an hour.
Okay.
Would that be helpful? And I'm sorry to make you gentlemen wait, but
No, you're good.
hopefully we can get this ironed out before we adjourn.
I'm working on it as we speak, so don't let me hold you up here.
Okay. Would that be okay
Yeah,
with you,
that's fine.
Dave? And,
Yeah.
and tell you what, and I'm not gonna say if we get it worked out, when we get it worked out, we'll just stop wherever we are in the process, and we'll come back to this. Are my two colleagues okay with that?
I'm fine.
Okay, so please, gentlemen, take whatever time you need, and hopefully get it ironed out.
Okay.
When you do, just come back and we'll open the bid.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you much. These things happen sometimes. And it's in very capable hands. So we will, for the time being, forego the bid opening, and hopefully we'll be able to come back to that. We have received 2 warrant registers from the Controller's office, and they are dated July 9 and July 10. And Dan and Chris, I'll give you gentlemen time to look them over, and once you've done that, feel free to ask any questions that you might have. And if not, whenever you're ready, I could take a motion to accept these documents, but please take your time.
I move we accept the documents. I have a chance to see them.
Thank you, Chris.
I'll second.
Dan, thank you as well. Gentlemen, any questions on any items on the warrant register? And if not, we have a motion and a second. We take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. The minutes of the July 9 meeting are in our packet. Dan and Chris, please take whatever time you need to look them over. And then whenever you're ready, I could take a motion for us to adopt the minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of July 9th meeting.
And I'll second that motion.
I thank both of you, and do either of you have any concerns or questions? Thank you. Vanessa, could you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. We have 3 documents that have come in over the last week under written communications that we can enter into the record. The first one is from Apex. It's an engineering firm based in Greensburg, and they are writing us regarding, on behalf of Americold Aggregates, advising us of blasting activities at a mining location in Shenango Township. The location is directly east of State Route 2001, which is Savannah Road, and directly north of and adjacent to Americold Aggregates' current active, can somebody help me pronounce that? Moshapan? Mostapan? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. That's the name of the mine, Moscipan. And it's about 2.4 miles northeast of the village of West Pittsburgh. But again, this is in Shenango Township. They're basically giving us the area where they'll be doing blasting and making notification of that. The second item that we've received comes from Heidelberg Materials in Connellsville, which is down in Fayette County. This is also a blast notification schedule. And it states that Heidelberg Materials will be doing surface blasting at the Midland Large Non-Coal Surface Mine in North Beaver Township, approximately 1 mile northeast of the borough of Bessemer, west of the intersection of Hoffmaster Road and Smalls Ferry Road. And they go on to list what the blasting schedule will be. And then the last document is from Fike Associates on behalf of Allegheny Mineral Corporation, which is based in Katanning. And this is once again a blasting schedule for surface mining operations in Slippery Rock Township, known as the Myers Mine. So those are the 3 letters we've received. I neglected to mention these documents are available if anybody wishes to see them. But gentlemen, may I have a motion to accept these documents, please?
I move we accept the documents.
I'll second.
Thank you both. Dan, any questions or concerns? Thank you, Chris. Anything? Okay, thank you. We have a motion, a second. Could we please have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. Oh, Dave gave the thumbs up. That was great timing. We just finished a vote, and please take your time getting settled in. I knew you could do it. So, David, whenever you're ready,
Okay.
please take your time.
I apologize, they ran an upgrade on the system, and apparently there's an extra step that you have to do. We just called it, there's a new step that we have to do before we open it. So it is now on here, so as I said, Fryer Excavating is the only bid, and the bid price is $121,389.92.
Thank you for that. Normal procedure on any bids, I'm sure you gentlemen probably know, is we generally table the bid to allow planning office, the controller's office, and any other appropriate office to review the bid. And then within perhaps a week, when we reconvene, they will come back to us with a recommendation. But before I take a motion to table, Rebecca Schaefer's with our planning office. Anything else over and above what we've talked about?
Nope.
Okay. David, you're comfortable at this point?
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Kennedy, any questions? Thank you, Mr. Sonata. Given everything we've heard, may I please have a motion then to table the bid?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Thank you both. The motion is to table. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
And gentlemen, I'm assuming Rebecca would be able to let you know the likelihood of us being able to vote on this a week from today. Is that correct, Rebecca? You could keep them in the loop?
It will,
Okay,
as soon as we review and get the approval.
okay. Whenever they're ready to go, and it hopefully could be a week from today, unless an issue were to come up. But we will be reconvening next Tuesday at 10 o'clock in this room. So,
Sounds great.
gentlemen, you're very welcome to stay, but I'm sure you're busy, so if you have to move along, we understand.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you working with us on that.
Well, likewise. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you
Have a
very
good
much.
day.
Thank you.
Mr. Prestapine, as always, thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Take care, Dave. Thanks, Rebecca.
Uh-huh.
Have a good one. Well, that worked out well. That takes us to commissioner reports and comments, and Mr. Kennedy, you get to go first today.
Well, finally, I feel like I'm back in the seat and moving. Yesterday, I had to get down to SPC, had a meeting with Cindy Axon from the, she's a USDA senior advisor. And we also had Bob Morgan, the state director of the USDA Rural Development. Went over some grants you can get from either the federal government or the state government. And it will be some information that I'll pass on to Ben Bush and us to look at the Owens County Regional Development Board. So it was a good afternoon. Got to see some of my colleagues from other counties and talk. So just felt like I'm finally back in what I need to be doing and out there and get things done. I've had about 14 days now, good days. So I feel I'm over my hump and we're moving forward. And I feel great about it. But the other thing, I just want to mention one thing. One thing I looked at Saturday, what happened in the nation. It's a terrible, terrible act. We lost a young man, and it's just a shame. He dedicated himself to his community, did a great job. But Chris and I were talking a little bit this morning. One thing we said, us three, when we come in here, we might be Democrats or Republicans, but that ended. We become county commissioners. I tell you what, the three of us, we treat each other as human beings. And if we do disagree, we disagree and we go on and we get things done. The nation needs to see what people like us have done and how we can get things done in a whole and move forward. Instead of just fighting and calling each other names, I'm proud of what us three have done and how we act together. I think, to me, I look at it as we're a good team and we're all here to work for the people. And I think each and every one of us do that. Just from my perspective, I'm proud of both of you two for the way we can do what we do in the building and outside the building. No one, I think, ever has saw us yell and scream at each other. We might get mad at each other and disagree and walk out the door, but by the time we walk out the main door, that's done. And I thank you two for being that way, because it shows you can do that. And so just a little thought I've been thinking about since Saturday, and then Chris came in my office this morning and we talked about something, and I said, thank God we don't act like that. And proud of you guys, so thank you.
The feeling is mutual. And we're so glad that you're really on the upswing. We still worry about you overdoing things once in a while, but I know you and I were talking about your trip to Pittsburgh yesterday, and you said you got home about, say, 5:30, but then you had something to go to.
Yeah.
So we're watching him just to make sure he doesn't overdo it, but we're so glad your recovery has gone the way it has.
Yeah, I'm happy with what's going on.
That's great. Let's see, I get to go next. Couple things very briefly. We recognized our prothonotary, Mrs. Asaldo. We get the Pennsylvania Borough News, which is published out of their office in Harrisburg. And in this latest edition, they recognized a whole host of borough council members around the Commonwealth. And there were two in here from the borough of Elwood City who have completed 10 or more years of service on borough council. So they've each received an award. I think we all know both of these folks. Jim Barry and Michelle Lamenza have received recognition from the State Association of Boroughs for their 10 plus years of service. So we want to echo, just as we did with Jody, we're very proud of both of these public servants. And so we wanted to make note of that, enter it into the record. The other thing I'll mention, and Dan talked about the unfortunate set of events that happened on Saturday. I do want to recognize our public safety department. They were contacted after the event and were requested by, I believe it would have been Butler County's Emergency Management Agency, if we could drive over and loan them some of our heavy duty lighting systems for nighttime, outdoor things. And Mr. Strobel called and we said, by all means, please do whatever you can to help. So I wanted to let it be known that our public safety department did go over there. I haven't heard what all they did. I've not talked to Chad, but I do know that they went. And we're proud of Chad and his staff. So just want to make note of that. Mr. Sonata, you're next.
Thank you, Chairman Vogler. I got an opportunity on Friday to participate in a Zoom call with the Northwest Commission. That was actually my first official meeting with Jill Foys and some other commissioners in the Northwest. And they went over a little bit about the budget in Harrisburg and some of the effects that it would have on us and some of the things we thought and some we didn't. So I thought it went well. It was about an hour, 20-minute meeting. So that's actually, I learned that, every month, every other month, we get to go up to Franklin now. But I think the other month we'll do it on Zoom. So it worked out. I got a chance to, interact. And Mr. McKinley from New Wellington, who's our representative on there, and he was on the call as well. Very active member. So I thought it went well. I know the discussions are still continuing on broadband. And we got some activity going to be going up there next month, which I plan on participating in. So that's really all I want to talk there. And I just want to echo Commissioner Kennedy's comments and yours, Chairman. I think that the tragic events of last Saturday, I think it's sent a chill to all of us. And at this point, we're at a point in our country, our state here, everyone needs to take a step back. We need to go back to civility. I think that's the question. We've shown it here in 7 months. Maybe we're all three old school. Because you treat people respectfully, you can have your disagreements. As Commissioner Kennedy said, you walk out that door and you move on to the next issue. And Unfortunately, we're not seeing that. I wish President Trump full recovery, and the tragedy that, firefighter suffered over there and the other two. Because it's, this is something we can't have in our country. Both parties have a right to assemble, to go to rallies, to support their candidates in a peaceful manner. Both sides have an opportunity. And when you see what happened on Saturday, that goes to the core of our democracy, because you have the ability to express your views, whether you disagree or you don't disagree. But that's what our process is all about. So to see it was very disturbing to me and to all of us, I believe. And we need to just step back on both sides, the two fringe elements of both sides, just need to calm it down a little bit. And as we disagree respectfully, that's my call out there to the others out there, whether it's in our community, in our state, or our country, because you can have the arguments and disagree. I want to go back to the days, and I use a story, and I've said it many times, when I first got involved in politics as a congressional aide. It was in 1982, 1983, when I worked for Congressman Biden, and you had Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill, two old-time politicians, and you would call them back in the day. And they fought like cats and dogs during the day. And I think Jim Michaels was the speaker at the time. But at night, they sat and they had a cocktail and they respected each other and they worked things out. And that's, when I first got into it, I remember how it was back then. I'd like to see us sometimes go back to those days, because you know what? You can have your disagreements and battle it out, but in the evening, it's time to sit down and treat each other respectfully. So those are my comments today.
Thank you very much, Chris and Dan. Debbie, good morning, welcome.
Sorry.
No, that's quite all right.
Take care of.
No, we know how busy you are. I will note, in the event you're not able to watch what has transpired, we did recognize Jody Asalda. She was here. She was just elected president of the State Association of Prothonotarians and Clerks of Court for the entire Commonwealth. So we wanted to congratulate her. So we're very proud of her. And
So take your picture.
okay. I think she had to run back up for a meeting, but we think that's a real honor that she's leading that group. So we're very happy for her. And I'll give you my packet when we're done here. Mr. Sonata referenced the Northwest Association. Our mutual friend Chip Abramovic is now chairing the board again. My term expired as board chair, and they put Chip back in. So
He'll do a great job.
he will. He
Yes.
certainly will. He's a good fellow.
Yeah.
He's county commissioner in Venango County, and he's a good friend of ours. We can move on then to new business. The first item, what number is this one, Vanessa?
181.
181, and this involves the jail. We have Deputy Warden Loretta Stillvogel and Lisa Zarilla. Ladies, if you would, are one or both of you going to discuss this? You're either one are welcome to come up, or both, whichever you prefer.
I'll take you.
This, I believe what we're looking at today is a resolution that would allow the jail to move forward with applying for a grant through the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency. But Loretta, I'll let you fill us in, please.
Thank you. Good morning. And I have to agree with Commissioner Sonata, nothing wrong with a cocktail at the end of a long day with your colleagues. That being said, Lisa and I are here today to ask that you do allow for the grant application to move forward. It is an expansion of the Vivitrol program that is already happening at Lawrence County Corrections to expand the availability of Vivitrol. As we all know, with the opioid situation going on with the crisis, that more inmates coming into the facility are suffering under the elements of being under the influence and or having the addictive substance in their system that we have to deal with. We don't want them to go through severe withdrawal. We have the availability to be able to supply what they need to keep them on a stabilized dose and to continue to work with them while they are in jail. The reason for the expansion is number one, to include those additional people coming in off the streets that will require the Vivitrol medication for themselves, and then also to expand to work with them once they are leaving our system. That's something that we have found not only in the jail systems with working with the actual substance use disorder, but also working with, on the opioid advisory board. We're talking about doing some different things with reentry programming. This will go hand in hand with that we make sure that the person that when they are leaving our facility, that we equip them with what they need to be productive members of society, that they don't return to our facility. That will help also to give them assistance with what they need so that they don't get back out on the streets and start the use again. Help them with housing, help them with obtaining skills that they need, vocational skills, helping them with housing, making sure that they get their driver's license, making sure that they get to the doctor so that they can continue with any prescribed medicines that they do have, any counseling sessions that they need. Not only will they have them in the jail systems, but also outside the system when they do leave. I could expand as much as you would like me to with this, but I just think that it goes hand in hand with what we are already doing. It's through the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency. This is a huge agenda to work within the correction systems to make sure that we do reduce the recidivism rates. And with the help of Lisa Zarilla, who is just phenomenal with writing grants, and we're lucky to have her with what she does to do that, to be able to expand programming. I think we're very lucky not only to have her have the programming that we do, but also be able to expand programming.
Well, thank you, Loretta, for the background you've given us. And just to clarify, my understanding is that the jail did send information out to all 7 members of the prison board about this. So the prison board is aware of it. My recollection is that the due date for the grant application is 2 days from now. So it probably behooves us to act on this, obviously, today, because if we don't, you'd be precluded from moving forward. So we certainly want you to succeed in this, but we appreciate both of you and your colleagues at the jail staying on top of it. Let me see if Commissioner Kennedy has any questions.
No.
Thank you. Commissioner Sanada?
It's very straightforward.
Thank you.
Information.
Thank you. So if we go ahead and vote on this, that'll permit you to take the next step of the application. A quick question. Will you need commissioner signatures on the documents?
Yes, I have them.
Okay, good. Now, because I'm here until, we have prison board tomorrow. Right after prison board, I've got to scoot. So we'll be able to have signatures in time?
Today.
Okay, great. Just wanted to make sure. And even if I weren't here, my 2 colleagues could sign. So, anything else, gentlemen? May I have a motion then for proposed resolution 181?
I move we support resolution 181.
I'll second.
Thank you, gentlemen. And if there are no other concerns, we can have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. Loretta, as
Thank
always,
you.
so good to
Thank
see you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for
so
coming
much.
over. Lisa, thank you very much for all your work.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Next, we have on the agenda a number of contract proposals from mental health and developmental services, and of which there are 6, I believe, and Scott Baldwin, the director, is with us. Chris and Dan, would you mind if Scott walks us through these? And we can ask them questions along the way, but would you gentlemen be agreeable to, when we're done, taking one motion to cover the 6, if we're able to do it that way? Okay, thank you for that. Scott, welcome. Hope everything is well.
Yeah.
Good to hear. Your first proposal, number 182, is a contract with Alleghany's Unlimited Care Providers Johnstown out in Cambria County. What can you tell us about this one?
Yeah, so these are all, I have 5 renewal contracts. None of these are new ones. And these are all for the new fiscal year 24-25. So these would start July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. And these are all paid for out of Human Services Block Grant funding. These are no direct cost to the Lawrence County taxpayer. Yeah, the first one is Alleghenies Unlimited. This is a developmental service contract. Alleghenies provides residential care, but also a variety of home and community employment services, behavioral supports, companion services for our folks that are eligible for intellectual disability services. So this is a renewal contract for Alleghenies Unlimited.
Thank you, Scott. Chris, any questions?
No.
Dan? Okay, thank you. Next is number 183, Psych Med Associates, based here in, that'd be out in the Shannick Township, Lawrence County. This is number 183.
Yeah, this is PsychMed. This is a renewal. PsychMed does competency evaluations for the county at the jail, but we also added threat assessments. So this is something new that our office has been in collaboration with District Attorney, FBI. There is a concern of somebody in the community that presents maybe a threat to them. We meet collaboratively with our folks, mental health interventions, and we need a psychologist to participate in this. So Dr. Nada from PsychMed participates in these threat assessments, but also he does a variety of psychiatric services. If we have a need of it, really anywhere. He's been a very strong partner. So again, this is a renewal contract for this coming fiscal year. And those dollars amounts, I'm sorry, I didn't do Allegheny dollar. PsychMed, the budget. You can just take the Allegheny budget number, Dan.
Take your time if you have it there, if it's handy.
Yeah, it was 35,000 for Allegheny.
Thank you, Scott. Any questions regarding proposed resolution 183, Psych Med? No questions? Thank you. Number 184 is a contract with Northview Estates Limited Partnership based here in the city of Newcastle.
So this is a personal care home, and we do have several of our mental health folks that reside there. These dollars are in addition to the supports that they need, transportation to doctor's appointments, just maybe some additional case management that they receive while they're at the personal care home. We provide that additional dollars using our block grant funding. And that dollar amount is $50,000 or $45 per day. And we're very happy to partner with us and assist us with some of these folks. So.
Scott, thank you. Mr. Sonata, any questions? No. Thank you. Mr. Kennedy? All righty, thank you so much. Number 185 is Guiding Changes Counseling. Looks like they'd be out in the Shannick Township.
Yeah, now this used to be Clover Psychological, which we've always had a contract with Clover's. They have a new ownership. Kathy has retired, and the ownership of her business has switched to a therapist that was her Thomas Stallman. So they changed the name to Guiding Changes, but it's still at the same place, the same service, formerly known as Clover Psychological. And again, this is a renewal contract with them, just a different name. The contract amount is $125,000, and Clover's is a specialized provider that deals with sex offenses, forensic services. They go into our jail and do services. They have a specialized anger management group for guys that are sitting in jail for domestic violence. So they do a specialized curriculum, but also their outpatient services. So we've invested a lot in Clover's because we want them to stay here. That service is greatly needed, and they're a wonderful provider. So again, that amount is $125,000.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Kennedy, any questions? Mr. Sonata? Okay, thank you. Number 186 is Lawrence County Social Services, IM4Q, and this is based here in the city of Newcastle.
This has been a long-standing contract with LCAP. IM4Q is a required monitoring service that provides for all of our intellectual disability providers. They do surveys, they talk to the members to see if their services are going well, and then provide us with that feedback. This has been a long-standing amount is $25,000, and this is for fiscal year 24-25. So
Thank you.
Did you say so?
28,000, I'm sorry, $28,000.
Oh. I'm sorry.
Chris, any other questions? Dan? Okay, thank you. And then I believe this is your last one, number 187, and this must be a separate contract because this is specifically Clover Psychological
Yeah,
Association.
this is an amendment. So they needed some additional dollars. Again, when you look at budgeting for a program, it's hard to guess how many offenders we'll have to serve. So the jail services have been expanding. This is where this was at, as additional groups. So Clover Psychological needed an additional dollar. So we increased it $30,000. The original contract was $100,000. We increased it to $130,000 to sort of make them whole at the end of the year. So this would have been for fiscal year 23-24.
Appreciate that information. Let me see if Mr. Kennedy has any questions. Mr. Sanada? Thank you. Gentlemen, Mr. Baldwin has presented resolutions 182 up through and including 187. If you would be so willing, I could take a motion for us to approve all 6 of these proposals.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. I thank you both. Dan, any other comments?
Just because he's starting to learn off his co-partner over there. Mike, brings a million things to one meeting. I just gotta pick on Scott.
An easy like.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I get into trouble.
But you gotta get the going right.
Mike's good today.
Because, you know, he pays me to put him on first. He didn't pay me this
Oh.
week.
So
Where is that on the agenda?
You tell me what you want.
Chris, anything else before we vote? I'm sorry, did we get a motion?
We do.
Okay, and a second, I'm sorry. So this is for, once again, resolutions 182 up through and including 187. We'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thanks, Vanessa. Scott, always a pleasure to see you.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks for coming over.
See you, Scott.
Well, speaking of CYS, we have both Mr. Bout, the director, and Mr. Grippo, deputy. Looks like Mike is in the front seat today, and you've got 2 for us. Welcome, Mike. Number 188 is a contract with Cray Youth and Family Services based here in the city of Newcastle.
All right, good morning. I only have 2 today. Now, next week's gonna be a little different. It's gonna be 5 to 7 next week.
We see you keep him busy.
But this is the last contract of all the contracts for Cray Youth Family Services. It's a renewal. It's an in-home provider. This is Crossroads Homemaker and Visitation. Crossroads is an after-school program that the children get to go to. They help them work on their homework and do activities while they're there after school. And Homemaker is a program to help families in cleaning their house, cooking, stuff like that. And that's the program that Cray offers. And the Visitation Family Reintegration is a program to help biological parents get to see their children on a scheduled time in a controlled environment. So again, the Crossroads Homemaker is $441,500 a year, and the Visitation's $520,000 per year. So if you look on the second page there, it's about a 4.62% increase from last year on the Crossroads Homemaker and a 4% increase in the Visitation. We do them both.
Let me stop and see if Mr. Kennedy has any questions.
I'm good.
And thank you, Dan. Chris, any concerns on this first one? Okay. No, if you gentlemen don't mind, we'll keep going. We can take a motion on both if that's okay.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you. Resolution 189 would be with Justice Works Youth Care down in Allegheny County. What can you tell us about this one, Mike?
Okay, this is a JPO contract. it's a renewal. After speaking with Lisa at JPO, they have never used this service, but they have it as a backup. It's kind of like it's a care management service, so their rates are all based on hourly. And again, JPO has never used, Justice Works, okay? So the rates, again, they range around a little over 5% increase, but they're all based on hourly. And again, they've never used it. It's just more, speaking to Lisa, just use it for a backup in case they need it. That's what that is.
Understood.
That's it.
Mr. Sanada, do you have questions on the Justice Works Youth Care proposal?
No, it's pretty thorough.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kennedy?
I'm good.
That being said, gentlemen, Mike is asking us to consider resolutions 188 and 189. Would one of you care to make a motion?
I move we accept the resolutions.
I'll second.
I thank you both. If there are no other concerns, we'll ask Vanessa to call the roll.
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Before you leave, I have a book at home. It's the history of Cameron County, and I was flipping through it recently. And there's some Grippos, pictures of people named Grippo in it. Would you like me to loan you that book? Or
Yeah.
maybe you already have it.
No, I like it.
Let me bring it in next Tuesday. I'll loan it to you.
Okay.
I saw it. I thought, hey, these have to be relatives of Mike's.
Until he retired. He did.
Did he
Yeah,
retire?
it's about home.
Good for him. Good for him. He's had the gentleman we're talking about is Mike's cousin. And Tony was a county commissioner in Cameron County. He was on the Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board for quite some time. And then he was on a different board, and I forget the most recent board he was on. Probation and parole, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And he also, Tony Moscato is his name. Wonderful gentleman. He was also on the staff of Senator Scarnati.
Yeah.
So you may have met Tony in your travels, but a real prince of a guy. Now, is he still living up in Emporia?
Yeah, he's still living
good
there,
for him.
yeah, but he retired, so.
I still send him a Christmas card every year.
Oh, do you?
But I'm so glad to hear he retired.
Yeah.
What a gentleman.
Yeah.
So, but I'll bring you that book next time.
Okay, that sounds good, thank you.
Anything else for Mike or John, anything?
Nothing.
Okay, well,
Appreciate your time.
thank you both, gentlemen.
Thanks, guys.
Take care. We have some transfers to consider. The first would be number 190. The district attorney's office has some budget amendments they'd like us to look at. They had unanticipated revenue of $50,000. If I'm reading this correctly, it would be from the Drug Enforcement Agency. That's my assumption.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And then they're going to transfer that to the general fund expense account line item for DEA. And then they also received a separate unanticipated revenue of $30,000. They're asking that we transfer that to the district attorney's overtime expense fund account. Did I get that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Mr. Sanada, any questions on this one?
That seems pretty straightforward.
Thank you. Mr. Kennedy?
Good.
Thank you. May I have a motion for proposed resolution 190?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you both. If there are no other concerns, we'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The Voter Services Office is requesting a transfer from the Commissioner's contingency in the amount of $606.84 to be transferred to their line item of maintenance and repairs. And they're needing some of these dollars or all of these dollars for invoices they have received from Direct Image, which I'm going to guess is probably for their copy machines, more than likely.
Yeah, it was for their copy machines. Originally, we thought, or in our discussions, budget discussions, Tim felt as though his grant would cover those. For some odd reason, there were certain things that the grant couldn't cover, and one of them was copy machines.
Okay. Well, we got to play by their rules.
Yes.
And obviously, he'll find other ways in which to spend that grant money, so.
Well, yeah, there's no problem with that.
Okay. Okay. Chris, any questions for Joe on this?
Yes, Joe explained it thoroughly.
Thank you. Dan, any concerns?
No.
May I have a motion for the transfer resolution 191?
I move we support the transfer 191.
I'll second.
I thank you both, gentlemen, and we'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes?
motion carries.
Thank you. The voter's office is also requesting a transfer of $720.79 from the commissioner's contingency into the voter's line item of unemployment compensation insurance. This is to cover invoices from UC Trust. This is 192. Joe, anything else we need to know about this?
Same exact reason as the last.
Gotcha. Dan, any concerns or questions?
No.
Okay, thank you. Chris?
No.
No. Gentlemen, may I have a motion for resolution 192?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you both, and if there are no other concerns, we can do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes?
motion carries.
Thank you. We have in front of us a number of transfer requests that are administrative in nature. If you don't mind, I'll read them into the record. As I'm doing so, stop me, please, if you have any questions. And if not, when we get to the end, we can, if you're so willing, we can take a blanket motion if that's okay. The controller's office is asking for a $2,000 transfer from their contingency into that of land and building rental line items, specifically for document storage. The next request comes from, I'm assuming this is Judge Russo, Magisterial District 53-304, and I'm looking at the signature. I'm pretty sure that would be Judge. Yes, it does. There it is, right? Black and white. Thanks, Dan. The request is for $1,762.92 coming from their contingency account into their line item known as bank charges. Planning office is asking for a $1,500 transfer from their contingency into their line item of maintenance and repairs, and that's an invoice from Direct Image. District Judge Amodi is requesting a $510 transfer from her line item of temporary part-time staff into her line item of unemployment insurance. The Public Safety Office is asking for a $73.59 transfer from their contingency into their line item of unemployment insurance. And then the jail, and on the agenda, it's broken out into all three. Our paper document here has it all on one page. Jail is asking for a total transfer of $12,285, and it's split out as follows. $500 is coming from their grocery line item into that of vehicle expense. I think that's how they have it here. Also from the grocery line item, $6,900 into the travel and training line item. And then from their contingency, $4,885 into their unemployment compensation trust line item. Gentlemen, these are the transfer requests that we have. Are there any concerns about any of them? If not, would one of you wish to make a motion that we approve all of them?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you both. And if there are no other concerns, we can take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thanks, Vanessa.
You're welcome.
Under announcements, the commissioners will reconvene 1 week from today, Tuesday, July 23 at 10 a.m. I do want to note, and it's maybe a little early to say this, but it's, I guess, worth pointing out for everybody's calendar, that on August 6th, which is the first Tuesday of August, the commissioners will not meet. We will be attending the annual conference of State County Commissioners Association down in Adams County. So there will be no commissioner meeting on August 6th. Also, tomorrow, Wednesday, July 17 at noon, Prison Board will hold their monthly public meeting in this room. And speaking of public, let me open the floor to see if we have two folks in the room. Any public comments? Nothing?
I have nothing. I just come in to observe.
Well, we welcome you, Mr. Picari.
Thank you, sir.
You missed our prothonotary. She received,
She was in my office after.
oh, good. Did she tell you about her new position?
No.
She's the president of her state association.
Wow.
Statewide.
She didn't tell us. Wow.
That's because she's so modest.
Right.
And we're real proud of her. Any other public comment? Closing comments from my fellow commissioners, Mr. Sanada? No. And Mr. Kennedy? Thank you. Vanessa or Joe, anything maybe we've overlooked?
No.
All right, I thank you both. Well, thank you all for being here. We've concluded our business for the day. May I have an adjournment motion?
We adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye, opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. This meeting's adjourned. And Mr. Vanasco will turn off the computer. Thank you, everybody. Debbie, I got your packet here.
I'm sure you got another job, huh?
Right.
Definitely don't.